We'll be like, watch to the end of the video, you bastards.
Welcome back to the Modern Horror Stories podcast with Jamie, Dave, and Alex. And today we have a special version of the show in which we are going to talk about our sequels to Terrifier. So during our discussions of the three Terrifier movies, it became apparent that whilst some of us liked the kind of lore and the world building that was involved, an alternative way to go was actually to build these standalone movies that just use Art the Clown, the character. And in one particular episode, Alex actually said we could remake the Christmas Carol with Art the Clown as the ghosts. So with that kind of setup, we're going to give you 10 sequels to the Terrifier franchise. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first. So last time, as well as the Christmas Carol one, in which we thought about as the ghosts, we thought about Art as Scrooge. I think we thought about, having almost everybody played by Art. But, you know, there are all these different ideas thrown about. But another one that we were talking about was Art the Clown goes to study at Lecoq Clown School in France. And we thought the idea would be wonderful, him being a mime, him, so, you know, not speaking at all, and the idea that people could see his murders as just brilliantly done clowning. And sort of some of my other ideas have followed on from that. I essentially thought, where would Art the Clown actually fit in? Where would he be? Where could he be that he wouldn't sort of stick out as much? And one of the ones I came up with, it was also to do with the idea of mime. It was in the style of, or not mime necessarily, but silent cinema. Laurel and Hardy is to have a slapstick Art the Clown, because we've had Art the Clown have these sidekicks before, but it might be interesting to have this sort of slapstick double act where it's, you know, if they're hoisting the piano up and the piano falls, we have the genuine consequences of that. We have the sort of the clear up, the mess afterwards, everything that Art the Clown wants to kind of do, but all in this very slapstick way.
I love that. That's such a good concept because Laurel and Hardy, like you say, the scenarios that they're in and they put themselves in would actually be quite devastating if they were real. Another fine mess. Splat. So my one of my concepts, I've got a title for it. It's Route 666. So Art takes a road trip across America. I don't know exactly what happens during that road trip, but you know, he'll encounter different people, different towns, different lifestyles all along the way of his journey. Maybe sometimes he'll run out of gas. Maybe sometimes he'll encounter nice people. Maybe he'll encounter somebody who's like somebody who kidnaps people on the highway, and they'll have a little face off with each other. So yeah, Route 6.
Does he have a little tiny clown car? Because that's all I want in this film. Just so long as he's got I actually wrote down clown car when I was thinking of these things. I didn't think of like an idea to attach it to. Yeah. But you've got it now.
Yeah,
amazing.
A road movie would be great.
Yeah.
And Alex, as you were starting to talk about your first one, I wondered if you were going to spoil one of mine, because one of mine is called Talking Terrifier. And it's actually a silent movie in which he has loads of dialogue. But because it's a silent movie, you never hear him speak. And I just thought it would be a way to expand the concept of having the killer who never speaks, but actually have him speak without breaking that rule. Yeah. So, Talking Terrifier from the 1920s.
Lovely. I've gone for the second place that I thought Art the Clown would fit in was Wolf Hall, the Hilary Mantel, Laurel, and series. And obviously, Art the Clown's a jester, and at the time, jesters have this enormous influence. So I thought finding a way of turning Art the Clown into this Thomas Cromwell figure, in which he is sort of scheming and taking down the king's enemies for him, and essentially that way having these two sort of psychotic figures in Art the Clown and Henry VIII essentially facing off against each other, not in any literal sense, but it would be the kind of political machinations and an intrigue of Wolf Hall, plus the blood and the terror and the violence of the Terrifier franchise. And he'd have a new costume as well. He'd have the little things coming off his jester hat,
Brilliant.
but still black and white.
Brilliant. So I went the other way with my concepts. I went for things where art would definitely not fit in. So my next one is called School Run, and art is a soccer mom.
Oh, that's fantastic. School Run.
Picking up the kids, making the packed lunches.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great. And the pale little girl can be his child.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Oh, that was so. Do the kids speak or not? And do they sort of act like a normal family, but it's exaggerated in that way that art does everything? So
Interesting.
when they're sad, are they doing?
Yes. Yeah.
And, you know, so she's just lost the game. Art the Clown goes up to the referee and starts, and doing an impression of the ref holding up his yellow card and what. Yeah, that could be great.
Yeah.
And as a kind of like little message to Damien Leone about all of these ideas, I think one of the genius parts of Terrifier 3, which I wasn't a big fan of, but this part I did quite like, was the fact he hibernated for like 5 years, which
Yeah.
allows all of these versions to happen.
Yeah.
And it will need to happen for my next one, which is called The Art of the Terrifier. Okay.
Hey.
And I always wondered if he was called Art the Clown because murder was his art. I don't know if that was the original concept, but I assume that's what it was. And so this piece takes place during the Renaissance, and he is what's the word for someone who's a contemporary of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. And the three of them try to outdo each other in their artistic masterpieces.
Right.
Art's masterpieces all around death and murder.
Well, they all studied anatomy, didn't they, in great detail? So that's how they perfect their art. Is they kidnap people, they dissect them as art does, and then they're sort of poking it, so that way they're able to create a perfect human sculpture.
All three of them are doing that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
It has to be all
amazing.
three of them, I think.
That would be amazing. And then, like, does all of art's own sculptures, does the church just destroy them when they?
Well, I was thinking because Art the Clown's, all his art is murder, whereas Michelangelo's and Leonardo da Vinci's art is kind of captured for posterity on the Last Supper and everything they've created. Art's masterpiece is all kind of just decompose. He becomes the forgotten genius.
Wow. Poetic. I love it. Now, I've got another one for you. So this one is, again, thinking, where would art not stand out? Camden Town. And this would be the way that this would work, because you get like the punks dressing up and like picture for 20 quid and all of that stuff. You wouldn't really notice art in Camden Town. Like, or at least if you did notice him, you'd just be like, all right, mate, and you carry on. So essentially what I'd do is I would get David Howard Thornton to be in character the entire time, go full Mike Lee. We get him on the streets of Camden and just have a camera there. And essentially he has to murder people. So there is a little bit of collateral involved in the making of this film. But yeah, essentially it is just putting the actor out there and trying to get him to discover the character through murder in Camden.
I do like the idea of bringing in another well-known director as well to give his slant.
Imagine that, Mike Lee's Terrifier. Yeah, I'm going to write that one down. I mean, I'm glad this is good because it means because at the moment all I've written is Streets of Camden Town. But I think as a title, Mike Leigh's Terrifier is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yes.
Brilliant. So my next one has got art in the title, as Dave's does. It's Mysterious Art Fair at Styles instead of Mysterious Affair at Styles.
Yeah.
And art is Hercule Poirot.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I really wanted to, I was trying to find a title for a Miss Marple story that I could wangle to get art or Terrifier into, but I didn't quite manage. But any story where art is Poirot or Miss Marple, especially Miss Marple, it would be extra funny.
I agree. Yeah. Also, would maybe everybody talk, because obviously there's all this gossip going around Miss Marple. So is everybody sort of talking to Miss Marple as if she can talk back?
Totally, yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah. Sitting down with her at the table, having
Yeah, so Miss Marple's there knitting, and they go,
Yeah.
well, you'll never have heard about the Reverend Cumnor. So what happened? And Art the Clown there.
My last one, possibly my last one, is called When the Laughter Dies. And simply put, it's James Bond, and Art the Clown is the Bond villain.
Okay, he's not Bond.
No, he's the Bond villain.
Okay. It's most of these films, we've made him the protagonist as opposed to the antagonist, I noticed.
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. But I just think, yeah, let's go. They killed Bond off in the last movie. Spoiler alert. So what? Let's push it. Let's really push the envelope, and let's have like a real James Bond villain who absolutely does scare the shit out of you. I mean, I reckon Bond would shit himself if
Yeah,
he met
totally.
the Crown. And what a great scene that would be, where Bond comes into like the lab, and Art the Clown is standing holding Q's entrails. Bond shits himself. Amazing.
Boom. Okay, that's next up on the slate. Let's shoot it.
Okay, I'm going to go with no, I've used up all my ideas. Someone else do the 10th one.
So
'Cause
I've got
I have
I've got
nothing.
one which I mentioned to Jamie last week, which is called Britain's Got Terrifier. Could also be America's Got Terrifier. Art auditions in front of Simon Cowell on the panel. He does a kind of crazy kind of murder with like loads of paper, red paper spraying around. You're not quite sure if it's real murder or just lots of decorations. Gets the golden buzzer. Goes straight through to the live final. And the live final is Carnage.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
I'll be very up for that.
yeah.
I've thought of my alternative. My idea is an Inspector Calls, but Inspector Ghoul is Art the Clown.
Oh, amazing. I like that. Did you ever see the BBC's Inspector Calls?
David Thewlis.
Ah,
It was like 10 years ago, something like that.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, really good.
yeah. Really good. Really good. Okay, so I have to choose between an Inspector Calls and Britain's Got Talent.
I bet
no,
it's not a
no.
choice you ever thought you'd have to make.
No,
Okay.
now you picked yours.
Okay,
It's
so I'll pitch mine.
Jamie Editor who makes the decision.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I see. So this isn't us. Got it. Right. So essentially, Jamie's going to pick one of them to be number 10.
Yes.
I see.
Got it.
I see.
And the others are cut from the video completely to be
And-
lost to time.
Yes.
Would it be awful if we had 12?
That's what I was thinking.
It would ruin your intro.
Did I say 10 at the beginning?
Yeah.
We can keep this bit in to explain the fact that we've got 12.
We'd have to keep it in.
Right. What's the 12th
We'll let
one,
the
Jamie?
editors decide. But so the last one is called Opened Up, and it's art is a psychiatrist. or a psychologist.
And what's he doing? I mean, how is he talking to people?
Well, he's listening.
Okay, great.
Share their problems. He listens. Every now and then he has some advice, but basically, if anyone, maybe I haven't thought of this before, but maybe if any of his clients are having trouble with somebody, he just goes and kills that person.
Great. Okay, cool. Yeah. Love that.
I love that one. There's, I mean, during my life, I've had a couple of like counselors and those kind of like chatty type things. And I did have someone who just listened and never said a word, and it drove me insane. And yeah, I could definitely see art being one of those. And
The tagline of it could be "He listens." Full stop.
Yes. Yes. And if any of his clients provoke him into like, so what do you think? He just kills them.
I feel you're getting out your anger towards this particular therapist. Just so you know, when art doesn't speak, it really pisses me off.
Yeah.
So I do like the idea of a therapist. I mean, that really fits the brief, doesn't it, of a character who doesn't say much or anything.
Mm.
A therapist with what's this one called?
Opened Up.
Opened Up.
I was thinking of calling it Open Up, but Opened Up ties in a bit more with the blood and gore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be Open Up.
Yeah. So, I mean, this, in a way, this whole video is a love letter to Damien Leone. Hopefully, a Christmas present, if you will.
Yeah, I think we'd be happy to negotiate all of these ideas. For intellectual, right? Yeah. No, please, Damien Leone, keep making your films because I love them.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind like a cameo, just a walk on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd love to be murdered by Art the Clown.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But yeah, please get in contact about our ideas. Or don't. We won't be too upset if you don't.
How would you want to be murdered by Art?
Oh, I think if I was able to think of a way that I could be murdered by Art, I'd be slightly worried. I'll leave it to somebody else's imagination. I'm happy with the premises that we've come up with. I'm not going to start brainstorming murders now, I think.
And on that note, we leave you at the end of December and our Christmas Modern Horror Stories podcasts, and look forward to talking to you in the new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Now we've done 12 of these Terrifier things. We can do a 12 Terrifiers of something.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should have introduced it as the 12 Terrifiers of Christmas.
You want to go for it?
Redo the intro.
Redo the intro?
Fuck. I could do, but then you'll have to chop a lot of our discussion out about the 10 stuff.
Yeah, we could just leave it. Actually, no, you don't need to reintroduce it. You can just title it The 12 Terrifiers of Christmas. And as people watch it, it will slowly become apparent
That there's 12.
That there are 12.
Yeah, we'll get some angry comments saying, the title says 12 and Dave said 10. And then
We'll be like, watch to the end of the video, you bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the bit at the beginning. Watch it to the end of the video, you bastards. That's going to be the... That's gonna...
Yeah. Yeah.